This is Cadence Yamamoto, and this is my persuasive speech. Epidemics, devastating to not only the people, but the economy, as they pit them against each other. No virus could cause the opioid crisis, but the government we live under today. To better understand why they are criminals in this situation, it is important to remember that when all this started during the decades before and after the Civil War, the use of opium was a preventable good. Aside from making people feel good, opium was an effective painkiller and cough suppressant. Accordingly, it was a staple of many patient medicines, sold back in general stores and other venues. Many people from all social backgrounds, whether it be white, black, or Asian, used opium-laced medicine for problems such as depression, headaches, menstrual cramps, and toothaches. It is not much of an exaggeration to say that the United States nation of opium users during this period, an estimate 500,000 Americans were addicted to opium at the end of the century. As a famous anthropologist, Robert B. Egerton summarized in his own words, the use of opium was widespread in all segments of American society. Children were calmed with opium derivatives. Women used many popular patent medicines liberally larded with opiates, and opium dens were probably present in all cities and most towns. Attendance at opium dens, equivalent of your common bar today or tavern, was popular activity for Chinese immigrants who began coming to the United States during the 1850s, helped build the nation's railroads, and performed other jobs. White workers feared growing numbers threatened the jobs, and radical prejudice against the Chinese increased. Politicians, labor unions, and other parties began to focus on Chinese habit of smoking opium at opium dens and warned the Chinese who were kidnapping little white children, taking them to their opium dens and then turning them into opium fiends. This camping had two effects. It increased prejudice against the Chinese and raised public concern about opium. This concern led San Francisco, 1855, to become the first location to ban opium dens. Other California cities did the same, and the states banned opium dens in 1881. 3 decades later, federal governments banned the manufacture, sales, and use of opium, except for use with a physician prescription, and when it passed the Harrison Narcotics Act in 1914. Then, years later, in the 1900s, the government spreaded ads for this painkiller, presenting it as a miracle drug again, which later proved to not be the case once again. The doctors commonly recommended it, telling their patients to take this on the daily, not really realizing what it would do later on. It was inevitable that many people would die from overdosing on this addictive substance. Later, they banned the drug again, throwing people into a complete frenzy, making them overdose on drastic drugs like heroin or meth. The only thing I could say to fix such a problem is not by banning or getting rid of the drugs, it's by fixing the government and genuinely working to make the world a significantly better place, not just for us, but our children and our children's children. This is Cadence Yamamoto, and this has been my persuasive speech on the use of opioid and its destructive habits.